You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is February the 16th, 2023. Time for another podcast. Tonight's topic is about help. Giving, receiving, asking for, granting, all of it. Just help. So we're going to talk about that right now. We'll get started. This will be a quick one. And off we go. Title tonight is it okay to ask for help? Seems straightforward enough. It seems like a silly question, but it isn't. A few years back, I was out sailing with my buddy Matt. We were just chatting about stuff. Nothing in particular, no specific topics. They were all just topics that clearly needed to be covered, though. Our topics always are. It was a beautiful day out on the lake. It was on Lake Michigan. We were sailing from Charlevoix to Harbor Springs in preparation for a weekend regatta. Boat delivery, we called it, but it was a great sail is what it was. Great breeze, perfect sun, cold beverages. Mine ran pretty heavy to Diet Coke, but that's okay. Keeps me doing what I'm doing. I'm also super fortunate that my friends have the coolest toys. Love that boat. We were sailing along, talking about sail trim and driving and the combination and how they work together. Sailing stuff at first. Matt has an incredible amount of sailing knowledge. I look to him for all the answers first. Over the years, we've become a pretty damn good team, mostly because he helped me. I didn't even have to ask. He's a helper. The asking part ties back to our discussion here. How are things going? For real, he asked. Really good, man. No complaints, I said. Right. Matt knew I was having some struggles, but not terrible ones, not this time. He'd seen me through the worst times of my life. The divorce, the lie, all the big stuff. Here he comes. You can ask for help. Don't go into bunker mode. That is how I know things aren't going well. When you disappear, I know you're struggling. He was right, but I didn't have to like it. I didn't have a problem asking Matt for help when it came to certain sailing things because he's an expert in the field. I was asking for knowledge, really, so technically I wasn't even asking for help. So I justified it anyway. Asking for help on things I should know is painful for me. I'm a grown-up, and grown-ups know things. That's the rule. I don't think help was always so hard for people to ask for. My grandparents were farmers. When it was time to make hay or harvest, the farmers worked together and helped each other. It wasn't a big deal, just assumed. Each farmer owned a different piece of equipment. They could work together and get more done by helping each other. That easy. When Grandpa and Grandma's house burned down, help was on the way. It wasn't asked for. Neighbors were just there right away, helping haul things out of the burned house. They weren't asked to, they just did it. Just like you and I would do. The little building that turned into the garage, we used to call this little building the garage, but it wasn't. No car was ever in there. It was built and put up in a day. It wasn't fancy, but it was functional. Dad and Uncle Hugh and Aunt Rhoda and Grandpa and Grandma lived in there until the new house was built. Neighbors just pitched in and got it done. They brought the materials, the tools. The family helped. Everybody just jumped in and got it done. Some people are born to help. As I was growing up, I watched my mom and dad help people. I just assumed that helping was the right and good thing to do. Mom, to this day, would still give you the last scrap of food in the pantry if you needed it. She would because she knew that she'd be fine. She has that eternal optimism and knows everything will just work out somehow or another. And I love that. If we passed a car on the side of the road that had its hazard lights flashing, you can bet Dad was going to stop and check on him. 9 times out of 10, he could probably fix what was wrong, get him back on the road. But he was damn sure going to stop and check and make sure they were okay. Mom and Dad were helpers. So my sister and I became helpers. Part of it's genetic, for sure. Part of it's learned. One Christmas, my daughter and I were headed to Dad's. About a 2-hour trip. She was young and picking out songs to play in between talking up a storm. It was awesome. We crested this hill and saw an older woman in a beautiful long red coat walking slowly beside her car. I could tell she was a little bit older because of the way she walked, and she had a cane. The car was moving along very slowly at her walking pace, and what I assumed was her husband was driving. I had to stop. Didn't have a choice. Didn't think twice. Told Sam to lock the doors behind me, and I went to investigate. I yelled from across the road so they'd know it was safe. "Merry Christmas. Is everything okay?" I asked him. I slowly walked across the road. "Merry Christmas, young man. Everything is fine. I have to get out and walk sometimes because I just can't sit for long rides anymore. It bothers my legs." "Thank you for stopping to check, though." She said that in her smiley little grandma voice. Samantha, sitting there grinning from behind the glass, unlocked the door and let me in. That grin was from ear to ear. What did she say? I'll never forget that. I told her what was going on and that everybody was okay and they were happy that we stopped. And again, that grin never stopped. I like that. Papa heard that story before we got our boots off once we got to his house, I can tell you that. It was so cute to watch those two chat. Dad was so proud. Genetic predisposition reinforced by direct observation. Sam is a helper. So why is it so damn hard to ask for help? Maybe it is that genetic predisposition. Maybe we want to be like Mom and Dad. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Some of us don't like to ask for help because it isn't our role. We are the helpers, not the helped. It gives us a sense of satisfaction being able to help. It completes that happiness circuit in our brains. We don't like to ask for help because we fear being let down. That might be part of the reason we're so compelled to help. We know what it's like to feel helpless or needy, and we don't want anybody else to feel like that. The empathetic helper. We don't like to ask for help because we don't want to appear weak or inadequate. We are smart enough and strong enough to do it by ourselves. Go help someone that actually needs it. I'm fine. Is it okay to ask for help on your calculus homework? Absolutely. Nobody understands that shit. Is it okay to ask for someone to help you figure out why you have the blues and can't shake them? Absolutely not. You're a grown-up and you should know better by now. One of those two statements is false. Not only is it okay to ask for help, it's the right thing to do. Suffering in silence doesn't do anybody any good. We build each other up. We work together. Come to the conclusion that it's courageous and selfless to ask for help. It allows others the chance to participate in that happiness circuit. Lending a hand to someone that never reaches out is a beautiful thing. Accepting the lent hand is even more so. If you're a helper, keep helping. But don't forget to allow others the opportunity to do so for you. If we all participate, we all become better. Let's do the next right thing. Keep going.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.